Hello, everyone, and welcome to another EBTV sports presentation. I am Frank Noppenberger, the supervisor of athletics at East Brunswick, and I'm joined for this volleyball contest between the Bears of East Brunswick and the Eagles of Edison by our assistant coach, Mr. Charlie Ginex. Charlie, obviously East Brunswick's heavily favored today. It's senior night. We're playing a team that maybe isn't up to our level right now. What was going through the minds of the kids yesterday, or at the end of the game, and then before today during warm-ups?
Well, I think they basically just want to come out and have fun, as we always do. I mean, they're a great bunch of kids, and they always try to have fun no matter who we're playing. But definitely tonight on senior night, I think the emotions are running high, and they're going to just try to do the best they can and have fun.
Okay, can you give us those starting lineups, please?
Well, over here on the right for East Brunswick wearing green, we have Greg Hunter, number 8 in the middle. He's our setter. Playing middle and front row right now would be number 20, Safe Kawash. Playing outside hitter on the left will be number 14, Eric Nowicki. Playing right side next to him will be number 28, Tony Yates. Dan Temkin will be playing the other outside hitter. He's number 7. And then Mark Mondry is in the back. He will be playing defensive specialist for the Bears.
Okay, and this is our normal starting lineup, or is this a special lineup for the
This is pretty typical. There's a couple small changes out there. I think Dan Temkin doesn't always get to start at outside hitter, but because of his senior status, he's getting the nod tonight.
Good. Quickly tell our audience about the change from rally scoring to what we're into, what we were last year with the service, because the Eagles just jumped out to a 1-0 win.
Well, basically what happens now is every time the ball's put in play, every time there's a serve, there's going to be a point regardless of what happens. In other words, each team is vying for a point every time the ball's put in play.
Okay, and it's 1-1, and that was a serve by East Brunswick.
It's a good up by Dan Temkin. That's why Mark's back there as a defensive specialist. He has a habit of getting to those balls.
How much communication goes on there during the play?
There's a lot more than you even realize. If they don't communicate, basically everything breaks down. They have to be able to talk to each other, know where they are, and basically everything flows from their communication.
Okay, tell the audience too about on the service. The server always looks over at the coach.
Well, basically what we do as coaches is we try to analyze the defense and see who's passing well for the opponent, and we try to, not to be mean, but we try to go at people who we think aren't passing as well, and we serve to them on purpose.
So what he's doing is giving them a number, a position, or a spot on the floor to serve at?
He's basically giving them a number. It would most likely be 5, 6, or 1, which are the 3 back row positions. If he were to give them a 2, 3, or 4, that would be one that would be just clearing the net, front row serve.
Okay, on that hit, I guess, by Tony Yates, that makes the score 4-1 Bears. The Bears come in with a 9-0 record and the #1 ranking in the state of New Jersey. They're also the defending state champs.
Absolutely. Last year, only lost twice to Clifton and St. Joseph's and Metuchen. But the Bears did respond by avenging both losses in the state tournament in the semifinals, upending Clifton and then knocking off St. Joe's in the finals to capture the 4th state championship in the last 5 years. And I think there was a touch on that, exactly. Bears went up for the block. It did tip off them, even though it went out of bounds. We touched it last, so Edison gets the point in the ball.
Okay, Edison's serving. It's 5-2. And tell us about the let serve now, which almost occurred right there.
Basically what happens is in the past, if the ball hit the net in any way on a serve, it was dead. It was automatically dead. Now if the ball hits the net, trickles over, even if it drops straight down, it's good, and the ball has to be played.
And correct, has to be played. Okay, that was just. Edison wants that ball land. Now, in my eyes, as a former coach, that's inexcusable.
Well, that's just a matter of, really, to be honest with you, it's just guessing at that point. There's going to be balls that are really close to the line in the back there, and we even have a policy of whoever's playing back row middle for us or defensive specialists, basically their job is to call the ball in or out. And even if they're taking a guess at it, we want them to call something. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose.
But are you supposed to err on the side of being aggressive and going after the ball rather than letting it go?
Probably up to the coach a little more than anything else. We like to, if we think it's going to be close, we'll usually try to go for it and take it.
Okay, this is senior night, and we have not introduced our seniors yet, so all those people who are watching out there, please hang in there with us. And in between games, we're going to do the introduction of this outstanding senior class of volleyball players. Score is 8-2 Bears. That was Eric Nowicki serving, and now it's 8-3 on that rally scoring. And number 12, Matthew Eichert, will be serving for the Eagles. That double, what's that play called? It's pretty new, we just put in.
That would be known as either a tandem or a stack, where we run two people right up the middle, basically hoping that the middle blocker will go up with the first and then be on his way down when our second player comes through and hits the ball.
And we've been just working on that recently, I think, right?
That's been pretty much in our repertoire in the past, but we're running it a little bit more this year because we're just really getting a lot of athleticism out of the guys, and they're really doing a great job of putting that play together.
All right, coming into the game is number 25 for the Bears, Brian Johnson, and the other one is number 17, I believe.
That would be Manny Rodasakis. All seniors
all
so
seniors.
far.
Nice set by All-State performer Greg Hunter on that serve, and that was a kill, I believe, by Johnson. Is that correct?
That was correct. Brian got up on that ball and really put the ball away nicely for us.
Brian Johnson's a fine young man who has just developed and worked his tail off into being an outstanding volleyball player.
He has. He came out as a sophomore 2 years ago, never playing volleyball in his life, made the JV team, worked at it from the beginning to the end. I can tell you that his improvement was just, it was huge. And then last year he played a lot of varsity, really had a great year, and this year he's really stepped up his play even more.
All right, Bears are up 11-4 on that serve by Manny.
There's a back row attack by Edison, and what happens is the three gentlemen that are in the back row for Edison, if they want to swing, they have to be behind the yellow attack line. If they're in front, it's known as a back row attack.
Okay, the Bears lose the serve, and it's a 12-5 Bear lead. Serving will be number 11, Josh Rosen, for the Eagles. The key in this is getting good sets, and that's what makes Greg Hunter an all-state player, is that he can set everyone, anytime, any place. You want to respond to that, or?
Well, I mean, basically, to compare, the setter is pretty much your quarterback on the floor. To put it in comparatively speaking to football terms, he runs the offense for us. He has to be able to get to the ball and move the ball around, get everyone involved. That makes the game flow more.
Like a point guard.
Exactly.
And that spike by Johnson makes it 12-6 Bears. Now, is it safe to say that if Johnson was on another team, he'd be a star for the other team and a starter?
Predominantly, yes. I think if he were starting for pretty much any other team, especially in this area, he would be a star. There's no doubt about it. It's like a low toss by Tony Yates on that service there. That's why the ball fell into the net.
Speaking of Brian Johnson, he's going to be attending Rutgers next fall, and we wish him well. Free ball. Explain to some of the people out there who may not know, what exactly is a free ball, Coach?
Well, a free ball is basically any ball that's put over the net in any manner other than a hit, other than a spike. If it's put over a loft or a lob over the net, then it's basically, we would call that out as a free ball because it gives us a chance to jump in, make a great pass, and set up an attack.
But again, it's all about communication.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. On that ace serve by Dan Temkin makes it 16-7 Bears. And the scoring is 25, win by 2. And that's an unlimited, correct, Coach? It can go up to 99.
That is correct.
97, right?
That is correct. That's how the matches this year for boys volleyball in New Jersey have gone to a best-of-5 series. The first 4 games being up to 25. If it does go to a 5th game, the game would be to 15.
And the girls, that's also true for the girls. And as you know, we voted on that to change that to go to 2 to 3 for next year. And in a few weeks, we'll get the results on that decision or the vote.
Yes.
A nice set there by Tony and a attempt there by Greg. We have 2 more subs coming in. We've got, you take that one.
Well, that would be Safe Kawash coming back in for Manny Rodasakis. He'll be, they're basically switching back and forth, and Mark Mondry's coming in for Brian Johnson. Basically what happens here is Safe only plays front row. He's an offensive player, and Mark only plays defensive specialist. He'll only play back row for Brian Johnson.
Right. And Tella's nice spike on Greg Hunter makes it 18-8. Now tell us about the substitutions. How many times can I come in and out of the game?
You can come in and out of the game pretty much unlimited per se. In other words, the team is allowed a total of 18 substitutions per game.
And I can do all 18 with you.
You and I could go back and forth and do all 18. That is correct. But once you go in for one player in rotation, you can only go in for that particular position in rotation during that game.
Okay, there's a
it's like a timeout.
Good
by
timeout
Edison.
by Edison with the score of 19-8. Now, that timeout. Let's go back to the timeout. Who is in charge of recording all that? The referee.
The referee keeps track. The umpire down here. There's always an umpire and an up referee. The umpire down keeps track of that. There's also usually managers and scorekeepers sitting at the scorer's table who keep track of everything just to make sure a little bit of a checks and balance system.
To me, it's very complicated. I mean, it would be very confusing if there's a lot of substitution going on, but it's a credit to our managers and the officials we have, and we seem to get the best officials all the time, that there never seems to be any controversy.
No, they do a great job. I have to say that the officials, especially in this state and in this area in particular, do a really good job of calling the games cleanly and very fair.
I think that's a credit to our fans, our coaches, and certainly our players, that the good officials like coming here because they see good games. They referee good games, and they're treated fairly by everybody. So I'd like to think that's part of the reason.
I agree. I would have to agree with that. I mean, if I were a referee and if I were an official, I wouldn't want to be going back to a school where the fans were,
hostile or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, Mark Mondry scoring, and it's 20-8. Now that wouldn't be called a kill, or would it be?
That would be a kill for Eric Nowicki. Basically, what happened was Edison on their first ball over, the pass was what's known as an overpass. He just passed a little too far. Ball came over the net, and it was just open season for Eric Nowicki.
I guess a kill. It doesn't matter if it's like that or one of Tony 8's 90-mile-an-hour spikes. Huh?
No, as long as the ball hits the ground, that's a kill. And what happened right there? Number 12 from Edison, Matthew Eichert, just had got a kill on that, even though he hit it off our block. It's known as a tool, and that ball just goes out of bounds off of us, so it's their point.
Okay, to Edison's credit, they are a young team. I believe this is their second or third year of varsity competition. And to the credit to them that they want to play East Brunswick twice and St. Joe's twice and the better programs around to improve themselves.
Absolutely.
I know when we started 7, 8, 9 years ago, whatever it was, we were competitive with everyone, but there was a few teams that pretty much dominated us, and it didn't take us long because of great kids, great coaching.
Well, thank you very much. And I think Edison, as far as wanting to play us twice and playing teams like St. Joe's twice, basically I'd say that if you want to be the best, you have to play with the best. Right. They're only going to get better by playing great competition. That's
what we always say. We've always lived by that motto. That spike was, or kill was by number 28, Tony Yates.
And it looks like a lefty jump serve by Greg Hunter. I think he pulled that one out. That's a new one.
Tony's going to go to Rutgers Newark. Obviously, he wants to play volleyball there since he's leading us in kills with 128. He averages 14 per game, and I'm sure he can play there, although they're one of the top teams around in volleyball, right, Coach?
They are. They are an outstanding program here from New Jersey, and Tony he's a special player. There's no doubt about it. His court vision is phenomenal. He obviously hits the ball hard. I think most people in East Brunswick know that he definitely hits the ball hard, as evidence right there in that kill.
I just think Tony is being a spectacular athlete. I think Tony could have been an outstanding soccer player for us. Okay, I believe the coach here is arguing that Tony went under the net.
That's what she's looking for from the official. Basically, the ruling is that as the player attacks, his feet cannot cross over the line completely, and But the one thing that is a little subjective is if the ball's already down before his feet cross, then it would be legal. And I think that might be what happened on that play. Being that Tony hits it so hard, he got the ball down before he crossed.
Okay, that's the end of our first game. And now we've got a 3-minute break in between. Now what the coach usually does is he checks his roster, his lineups. You guys discussed, kids discuss strategy with you, and then the kids get a break. Is 3 minutes necessary?
Well, it depends on the match. If you're playing a high-level game or if you're in the middle of the state tournament, maybe semifinals or finals, obviously, I think the 3 minutes in between games, number one, gives them a little bit more time to rest, get a drink, and then we sit and we evaluate what's going on the court. Not every match is an easy one, so the 3 minutes do come in handy at times, absolutely.
Okay, since we got a couple of minutes here, I know your JV team, I believe, is still undefeated. Tell us a little about your JV team, some of the outstanding players, and well, just tell us, Coach.
Well, the JV team is actually also undefeated as the varsity. We just finished off our 10th match today, beating Edison before this in 2 games. The JV, the differences between varsity and JV is basically the JV level plays best of 3 games up to 25 instead of best of 3, with our 3rd game only going up to 15. In our 10 wins this year, we've lost 1 game, sending 1 match to a 3rd game, but we did win that. That was against CBA. And we really have a great group of kids, freshmen and sophomores, playing JV for us. We have 8 freshmen and 8 sophomores starting for us. Leaders on the JV team as of right now would be kids like Alon Gitlin, Dmitry Esterov is our setter, Tommy Castles, Alex Feld are our middles, Dan Nowicki's a first-year player, sophomore, who's doing a great job for us. Dan Kang's also doing a really nice job. Jake Dombrowski's playing outside hitter for us, and his improvement from last year as a freshman to this year is he's just leaps and bounds is an understatement.
And I know you got a few 9th grade basketball players. Travis Heilman, he's a setter. You got another couple other 9th grade basketball players. Is there a correlation with that? Why are we getting some basketball players playing volleyball?
Well, I mean, athleticism is the number one thing. I mean, you want good athletes on your volleyball team. If we have athletic kids out on the court, then it's only going to translate to better opportunities for us. But I think there's the being on the court as a basketball player. You're used to, to be honest, to be blunt, it's you're jumping up and down. You're used to going up for balls, rebounds as a basketball player. You have to be quick on your feet and be able to get back and forth quickly as a basketball player. So I think that translates to good volleyball players.
And the training kind of helps one another. The jumping, the quickness off the ground, the timing of a rebound, like the timing of a block or a spike. Okay, we're about to ready to start the second game. Starting off would be East Brunswick with the serve. And why is that? Why are they starting to serve?
Well, in the first game, basically what happens is before any match, whether it be JV or varsity, there's a coin toss with the away team calling the toss, and if whoever wins the coin toss basically gets to pick whether or not they'd like to serve or receive, and it's really up to the coach and the team specifically what they like to do. Most teams with the new scoring system, rally point scoring system, they choose to receive. That way they're getting a ball that they can put away for a point. Basically today Edison served first in the first game, so that's why we're starting off the second.
Okay, and what is it? After the whistle, you've got 5 seconds to serve the ball. Is that correct?
That is the official rule. That's something that is not necessarily stuck to religiously, but it is the official rule, yes.
Okay, that was a little dink shot, I guess, by Tony Yates, put the Bears up 1-0. And serving again is Dan Temkin.
Dan's another player that's come a long way. He came out last year as a junior for the first time, made the varsity squad, was a really good role player playing defensive specialist for us, and this year he stepped up. Played a lot of beach volleyball in the spring and summer and through the fall, and that really is what's helped our program evolve, take that next step. As good as we've been, I think the fact that our kids always want to go out there and play on the beach, it's only going to continue to make them better.
Right.
We have an official timeout here. Not sure what the officials are talking about. I think it might be.
I thought it was about the line call.
Okay.
They were questioning our linesman if it was in or not, and now they're discussing it. That 5-second call, that's a rule, but it's not enforced often. That's what you said. Wasn't that enforced the other day?
We have there are a number of people that always serve the ball within 5 seconds. It's not an issue, but then you will see athletes from all schools who just take a little bit, seems like maybe 5.5, 6 seconds every time. But, I think the officials pretty much let them get away with it as long as it's not blatant.
Okay, the Bears are up 2-0.
There's a free ball over the net. And actually, after examining the court here, it looks like Coach Rutz has made a couple changes on the floor.
That was Eric Nowicki on the point.
Tony Yates is actually the setter this game, with Greg Hunter, our All-State setter, moving to outside hitter as he dives to the floor for a ball.
Okay, we were talking about Dan Temkin before. Dan is considering going to Rice University or Boston University. Boy, they're different parts of America there, huh?
That's an understatement. He's actually been on a number of official college visits for musical purposes. I think Dan has intentions of becoming a music teacher, and his musical skills and talents have basically dictated where he wants to go to school at this point.
Oh, congratulations. That's outstanding. I like to see that multi-talented kids here. Okay, that makes the score 4-1 in favor of the Bears, and that point right there went off one of the Bears and makes it 4-2 in favor of the Eagles. Okay, there's a nice hit, and there's that tandem hit that Coach explained before, and that kill was by, that's too quick for me. Was that by?
I believe that was by Eric Nowicki,
yeah.
number 14 on the Bears.
Okay, that makes it 5-2, and Greg Hunter serving.
It's a nice float serve by Greg.
He's safe with the spike or attempt. That one may have been a little bit long. And that makes it 6-2 Bears with Greg Hunter still serving.
As Greg serves this one, another float serve. Basically, there's two different types of serves that we would do, and them being a float serve or a top spin serve. And the basic difference is a float serve is, comparatively speaking, it's kind of like a knuckleball in baseball. You basically hit the ball as flat as you can, try to not to put any spin on the ball. And to be honest with you, the ball does move a lot in the air. You'll see kids line up to make a pass, and the ball moves completely on them, and they can't make the pass.
Well, that's a good. That was close. That was an attempted jump serve by number 11. That's good to see, by Josh, because I guess you've got to practice the skills, because if you don't do them in the game, you're never going to get better. And I know that's Coach's philosophy, especially with the service.
We try to serve aggressively, as Eric did there, a little bit too aggressively, unfortunately, hitting that one out of bounds. But a lot of teams will just try to serve and put the ball in play, but we serve aggressively. We try to score on our serve. There's no doubt that if we can serve aggressively, it makes it harder for the other teams to pass, and ball control is so important.
Okay, that was a good read by safe there, recognizing that the ball was going out of bounds and letting it go.
I believe that was a great read by safe over there on the outside, letting that ball go out of bounds, let it just go over his head. Number 17 that's back to serve now, Manny Rodasakis. That was his first kill of the season this year. He's a first-year player, really come a long way, and that was a great hit by him right there.
Good job, Manny. And Manny's also going to Rutgers.
There's those great hands by Greg Hunter. And there will be a net call on Edison.
You think he hit the net a little bit there?
I think a little bit. The net may have to check it. Looks like the Bears are definitely having fun out there tonight.
It's always a tough call when you're dominating an opponent like this. The fun and the enjoyment and the other team being frustrated. But I guess, what Edison's got to realize is, that the Bears got to play hard, but because you can't let up, because you never know what can happen.
That's right. This is it's a tough sport. I mean, the games are played because upsets happen. We walk on the floor every day wanting to win every game. We don't want to just win the match. We want to win every game. And as of this point, the varsity squad at 9-0, they have won 27 games in a row. They haven't given up a game all season.
And that made it 10-5 in favor of the Bears. Just looking at the Eagles real quick, what would you say they would have to start working on as a program?
I think, as I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, ball control is really important. Their ability to pass, your passing really sets up your offense. If you can pass the ball a little better, you can get the ball to the setter, hopefully right on the net, and that gives him more options of where he's going to place the ball. Defensively, it looks like to me they're a little out of position. They're standing up a little bit on defense. They're not really in a great ready position. And there's an undercall under the net over the line by Greg Hunter there. That would be a point for Edison. And I think if Edison, I'm sure they're going to keep working at it. They've definitely shown improvement from 2 years ago to last, and then again to this year. I'm sure they do have a good coach. They keep working at it. I'm sure only a matter of time before the program really gets a little better.
Okay, that makes it 10-7 in favor of the Bears with Edison serving as they go to receive this serve. How much time do you guys spend in practice on ball control and passing?
Well, at an average 2.5 hour practice, we spend, realistically, I would say we spend over an hour, sometimes over an hour and a half of passing. It's vitally important.
Like dribbling in soccer, that's the first thing you've got to be able to do is control the ball.
That's right. And if we can pass, we're going to win 99% of the time. We've played teams even last year in state finals against St. Joseph Metuchen. They were an outstanding team. For us to beat them was a great accomplishment. They were ranked number 1 in the state, seeded first in the tournament, and basically what it came down to was us passing better. We controlled the ball and were able to pass the ball and give our setters options, and they were not, and that was basically the difference in the match.
Okay, that long hit makes it 11-8 in favor of the Bears, and I believe Coach Rutz has called a timeout here. 12-8 Bears are up, and again, I'm Frank Noppenberger, and I'm joined by Charlie Ginex, our JV coach, who happens to also be the head boys and girls swimming coach, our very successful swim team. Coach, give us a little quickie on that swimming team. They never get the recognition in the paper. Very happy with last season?
Oh, very happy. As the coach for the last 3 years, I've been very happy every season. Last year, the boys ended up with an overall record of 10-4, and the girls ended up with a record of 7-4. Boys finished second in the GMC conference, losing only to St. Joseph Metuchen, who ended up, I believe, number 4th in not the state, number 1 in the state, but 4th in the country.
Right.
So to lose to them was nothing to be ashamed of. That's for sure.
Well, you do a great job, you and Coach Pellegrino. Okay, it's 12-8. We're back with the volleyball.
And a nice block by the Bears, but Edison doing a really nice job of covering the ball. They were there to get the ball right back up. It just happened to go out of bounds on the dig.
Okay, back into the game is number 25, Brian Johnson, and number 12, Mark Mondry. Serving still is number 7, Dan Temkin. Bears are up 13-8.
And I'm just
Make that 14-8.
Gonna watch a little bit here. Number 25, Brian Johnson. Looks like he's gone to outside hitter. He'll be playing the left side. And to my knowledge, this is the first time he's done this. So this could be interesting.
Now, is that for Coach for the future, maybe later in the season, to see if he can play that position?
You always want to make sure that everyone can play every position, just in case of injuries or whatnot. But I think also today, because it's senior night, I think Coach is giving the kids a little bit of a chance to have some fun out there.
And one more time, when does Brian usually? Where does Brian usually play?
He's a middle blocker. He
Right.
plays right in the middle, usually on the net, front row only. Outstanding hitter, Brian Johnson.
That makes it 4-10 in favor of the Bears. Again, I like that communication, in all sports or in life, everything's communication, be it in the classroom, family situations, or certainly in coaching. Now, what's that call? Tony threw it so high it hit the ceiling. I think the refs are confused. They're looking for a do-over.
That doesn't happen often.
Is this the only sport in the world with do-overs?
To be honest with you, it is pretty much one of the only sports, yes. He does have a very high toss on his jump serve.
Oh, that was a nice play.
Oh, there's Tony into the net and under on that set.
Another substitution for Edison with the Bears up 15-11. Okay, there's the whistle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not quite so fast. And on that play right there, what happened was we had an overpass. Tony, as a setter, he was right there, and he really wanted to, even thought about going up to try to block the ball as he knew Edison was going to smack it right down at us, but he's known as a back row player right now in rotation, so he's not allowed to go up over the top of the net to hit the ball.
I think that made Tom Quinn, number 24 for Edison, I think that made his day. He was pumped after that one. He'll be able to say that he spiked or killed the ball against the #1 team in the state.
Well, good for him. I mean, you know, to have a hit and to get a spike in any volleyball match is obviously a big one. I'm sure when you come to town and play East Brunswick, things get a little bit more important for them.
Okay, that makes the score 16-13. Bears seem to be a little relaxed as as Greg Hunter serves.
That's the ball control I'm talking about. If you notice the pass made by
not Sharp.
Not Sharp, exactly. Matt Eichert making the pass, basically not even getting the ball up to the attack line. That's why the setters are not allowed to able to utilize their whole offense.
Well, that's just got to be taken care of in practice. I mean, that's all I would do in practice. You know, that's almost like not being able to snap the ball from the quarterback to the center, I believe.
Well, it is a pretty. It sounds easy. It's a very basic skill, but yet it does get hard, especially when you serve aggressively as we do.
I didn't say snap the ball from the quarterback to the center, did I? Everyone knows I meant from the center to the quarterback.
No, I don't think you did. And Tony with a back row swing behind the attack line. And the same for Edison, but theirs goes out of bounds.
Now the Bears have Hunter and Central tomorrow. Can we get into a bad habit tonight, or are we're focused enough that we'll be able to?
The one thing I will say is we do stay focused. Coach Rutz does a really good job of keeping the guys on task and making sure that their minds stay clear and that they're aware of what's going on around them. And every match counts, and that's you don't want to let down at any point. And when you're trying to be undefeated and go undefeated for the whole season, you have to go out there and play hard every day.
Right. Speaking of Coach Rutz, I echo what you were saying about what an outstanding coach he was, and he was honored by the National Federation this year for being an outstanding coach. Matter of fact, we attended that banquet just 2 weeks ago, so congratulations for a well-deserved honor to Coach Rutz.
And there's a swing and a kill by number 25, Brian Johnson. I believe that's his first kill from the outside position.
Brian Johnson, he just has a wonderful family, and his father is the voice of the Rutgers Knights basketball team that you hear on WCTC. He's a great supporter of East Brunswick athletics. He's always here, and he's just a super person to have around.
And Dan Temkin with a tip shot right there. What happened was he was a little early going up for the ball. Tony put the ball in a good spot. Dan was just a little early, but a really nice adjustment to be able to tip the ball and just put it down for a kill.
Okay, that makes it 21-14 Bears. Tony with a set to Manny again, and I guess that's Manny's second?
I believe so, yeah.
Good for Manny.
I do have to tip my hat to number 2, George from Edison over there. He was actually in very good defensive position. Just didn't move his feet quite enough to be able to get to the ball and make the pass.
Nice finesse play on Edison. I believe Edison gets the point. That was your new player, number 2. I guess you and him are buddies now, George.
We are buddies, yes. George Loser. Yeah, nice pass by Brian.
22-15 Bears.
And a good up by Mark Mondry.
And I guess on that third hit, if you can't spike, the idea is to hit it into the middle, correct?
That's right. Well, the middle is usually the best spot. We do try to teach our kids that even when they're up in the air, glance and survey the court, and that way you have an idea where the defenders are not, and try to put the ball there.
Right after this game, we'll be introducing our seniors. It is senior night at East Brunswick, and because the game went pretty quick, we just want to delay it a little bit. That makes the score 22-16. I'm sorry, 23. Okay, there's Edison tried that. What would you call that? Where two guys go up and the first guy fakes it, the next guy hits it.
It's usually known as a tandem. I think what they were trying to run there was just pushing the ball outside, but their middle actually got pushed outside a little bit too much.
So there's a tandem side by side and
it's usually
front back?
It's usually just front to back. I think, to be honest with you, they were a little confused on that play.
But they're trying it. That's the important thing. That kill by Edison makes it 24-17. Next time Edison makes a mistake or the Bears put it in, that'll conclude the game, the second game of this 3-match set.
If you notice, Greg Hunter's basically telling everybody on the court that he's going to pass, and I think maybe he needs to reevaluate that, being that he couldn't get to that ball and make a good pass.
What a competitor Greg is. What a competitor.
There's a good pass. And Tony puts the ball down for the kill in the game.
And that kill makes it 25-18 and makes it 25-18. Now just to break the normalcy of the game, we're going to introduce our seniors right now, and we thank Edison High School and their volleyball program for cooperating with us with this evening. We're going to take about a 2-minute break and be right back with the senior introductions. And welcome back once again. As Mr. Emery, our announcers, saying, tonight we're honoring our seniors for their dedication and commitment to our volleyball program, but not only the seniors, but certainly their parents, and that they provided us with many enjoyable memories over the years. And as the athletic director, I sincerely thank them for their cooperation. And at this time, we are going to be introducing the seniors. The first introduced is we got manager Kelly Sheridan and her parents, Lois and Russell. I believe Kelly
is actually a very good swimmer for me. She was an all-county selection this year as a sprint freestyler.
Okay, and there's our manager, Shelley Zewski, and her mom. Next being introduced is Teresa Lee with her parents, Chinleen and Jen. Okay, the next group needs no introduction. That's Greg Hunter with his parents, Joyce and Nick. And Greg Hunter is our captain, and he's going to be going to Rutgers next year also. And of course it's Patricia Johnson and their son Brian, number 25. Okay, and then it's Saif Kawash and his parents, Waf and Assad. Mark Mondry, number 12, and there's his parents, Janice and Jeff, and congratulations to them. And Mark Mondry, he'll be going to Washington University. There's Eric Nowicki and his mom, Ruth Berman. Congratulations to Eric and mom. Okay, there's Manny, and we talked about number 17 before with his parents Irene and George. Daniel Tempkin with parents Margaret and Larry. That's Dan Tempkin next with his parents Margaret and Larry. Dan is number 7, as you see, and he's our musician. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And last, but certainly not least, is our another all-state player. He's going to North Rutgers. I'm sure he's going to play volleyball. That's Tony Yates and his parents, Teresa and Roy. Congratulations to all those seniors, Coach Rutz and Coach Ginex. And also special thank you to Edison for their cooperation, for allowing us to have that ceremony. In a minute or so, we're going to start the second or the third game of this set. And Coach, let me ask your opinion, and there's no right or wrong answer. Do you like the rally scoring, or do you like the way we did it last year where you only score on the serve?
To be honest with you, I think they both have their positives and negatives. I really do.
So you're not going to give me an answer is what you're saying?
No, I'm basically going to sit on the fence here for this one. No, I do like the rally scoring. I think especially with a team like us that serves aggressively and does put the ball in play, it really gives us an advantage.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the rally scoring, the state went to that because the National Federation did, because pretty much that's what happens in international play. I know they did it in the Olympics, and pretty much internationally it's all rally scoring.
That is correct, yes, absolutely. I mean, you'll see rally scoring on the beach, you'll see it internationally all over the world.
That was my next question, rally scoring on the beach. Coach, how do you know how rally scoring on the beach is? You always tell me you work all day and night, you don't have time to enjoy anything.
I listen to these guys. I'm not out there, believe me. They try to get me out all the time.
Okay, again, this is Frank Noppenberger, the supervisor of athletics, helping out here at EBTV, and with Coach Ginex. Coach Ginex is our assistant volleyball coach who's helping us out. And we're in the best 3 out of 5 games against Edison, and it's the #1 Bears with a 9-0 record going against the Eagles of Edison. In a minute, we'll have our next serve. Our next home game, well, this Saturday, the 23rd, is an outstanding volleyball tournament. So if you're around, come on up to East Brunswick, and you'll see the best teams in the state. And that'll be starting at 10 o'clock, probably conclude around 2:33.
Looks like Coach Rutz is going with a very different lineup here. He's got 6 juniors on the floor.
Okay, why don't you give them to us there, Coach?
Well, right in the middle there we have Brad Kern. He's our junior setter, number 6 right here. Close to us would be Brian O'Sullivan. He's going to be playing middle for us. Number 30, Brian Boyarski. Oh, Jeff Boyarski, excuse me. Brian is his brother. Jeff Boyarski will be playing outside hitter. Number 22, Mike Minchella, also a junior, will be playing opposite. We have number 5, Dan Sepkowski, who is usually a starter for the varsity squad. He's going to be getting the nod here for outside hitter. And then in the back, we have number 29, Tommy Kohler, who does get a lot of starting varsity time.
Now, Tommy, like my man Travis Heilman, is also a basketball player. And we see a lot of that out there because, as we pointed out before, that the sports do help out one another. As a matter of fact, Tommy's sister was an outstanding athlete here a few years ago in basketball and volleyball. As a matter of fact, I believe her sister helped lead us to a state championship in basketball, and when we used to play volleyball in the spring for the girls in the spring. You didn't know that we played girls spring volleyball?
Didn't know that, actually. I was talking to her the other day. I believe she was a substitute over in one of the East Brunswick schools here.
Okay. There's number 30 goes up, and that was Jeff Bowarski with the kill.
Jeff did a really nice job there. He got blocked on the first ball, but made had a good up, got the ball back up to the setter, made a nice transition, got off the net so he could approach and swing again and put the ball away.
Right now, Coach has got these guys in their correct positions, right?
Absolutely.
All right, now Brad Kern on the serve.
You're basically looking at a very good possibility that this will be your starting 6 next year when these guys are seniors.
Right. Your JV team looks pretty good there, Coach. I don't know.
There's a couple kids on the JV squad this year, sophomores, that I'm sure will be getting a lot of time next year. That's a great up by Brad Kern.
That's a great effort. We love to see that as coaches. We love to see kids getting on the floor.
I don't know if you could see that with the camera angle, but basically what Brad did was he beat the ball to the floor, got his hand underneath it, and it just bounced up off his hand and was up off the ground.
Okay, that makes the score 4-0 in favor of the Bears. And again, number 27, Brad Kern, is serving.
Even though Brad's playing his natural position right now as a setter, he does get a lot of time starting as a defensive specialist, playing back row middle.
Okay, that was a kill by number 30, Jeff Byorski. 5-0 Bears. It's a nice serve. See, that serve's got to be closer to the net, correct?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Brad's doing a really nice job of serving aggressively, and Edison's just not able to make a good pass. The ball control's not there, and they're passing off the net, and their setter doesn't have many options.
Okay, we got a substitution there for the Bears. I mean, for the Eagles. Number 10 goes in. That's Jason Tonic, and number 24, Tom Quinn. Okay, that call was what, Coach, under the net?
That would be into the net, contact with the net.
Now, what I just heard Coach Rutt saying, come on, let's go, because he's still coaching, even though this game may be over, except for the scoring. He's still coaching and working on these guys, and that's a sign of a good coach.
Well, you never want to let down, no matter who's on the floor, and momentum is very important in volleyball. You can see it swing, and then it goes the other way for a good amount of time, so that basically he's telling them to get the ball right back and run off some points. And a nice read, nice block by Brian O'Sullivan in the middle.
Have the JVs played in the tournament this year, Coach?
They have not played in a tournament as of yet, but we do have a JV tournament coming up in May down at West Windsor, Plainsboro South, and I believe we're going for our 5th or 6th year in a row winning that tournament.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on you, Coach. We've never lost it, so I don't want you to walk home. Well, the players will be able to ride, but if we don't win, you're walking home.
Well, the kids respond well to pressure. I'm sure that they're going to do just fine.
Number 5, a nice little, would you call that a dink by
a dink, a tip, open hand tip.
That makes the score 9-2 in favor of the Bears. Serving is number 6, Brian O'Sullivan.
And that one is
a little bit long.
A little bit long, exactly. He's not usually in there to serve. Something a little new for him. And a great job by Brad Kern getting to the ball, and then Tommy getting to him.
There you go, Big Tom.
And a great swing by Tommy Kohler. Talk about coming a long way. As a freshman 2 years ago, Tommy came out, got a lot better from the beginning of his first year as a freshman to the second. Last year started JV, and then this year he's just basically pounding the ball.
Serving number, who's that serving for the Bears? Coach number 22?
22, Mike Minchella.
But all of our freshmen are relatively inexperienced with volleyball, correct, Coach?
That's correct. Volleyball is a little unique in the sense that it's not like Pop Warner football or Little League baseball where the kids are playing from the time they're young. There's not many volleyball leagues, if any, out there for kids to get involved. So really the first time they ever see organized volleyball is at the high school level.
Right. Some of them I know are in leagues at youth, and I know our phys ed staff does a great job of teaching at the lower levels at Hammersholt and the elementary and introducing the sport. But we're working on leagues for town camps in town, and certainly an 8th and 9th grade team.
I think as good as the program is, it's only going to help even more when they get that going.
And we got to get more kids involved. Okay, the score is 10-4 in favor of the Bears, and I believe the coaches are the referees are having a discussion about a rule, or I guess they feel that one of the players stepped out of bounds, and Coach Rutch was asking for an interpretation.
I think, number 5, Dan Sapkowski ran what's known as a backslide, where he comes from all the way on this side, the left side of the court, runs all the way across the court, and basically catches the other team completely off guard. They're not expecting anyone to be hitting from that side. He put the ball cross court in play. I think they were wondering if not, maybe he had stepped over the line, but again, I think this might have been what we were talking about a couple games ago when the ball might have been down before he crossed, or either that or he wasn't completely over the line.
Well, that Coach Rutch is one of those coaches is not going to say anything unless he's pretty sure and almost positive that he's correct, and that's what happened right there, and the referee changed his decision. Good effort there. Way to get on the floor. That was by number 2, Mike Minchella again.
And that's just the communication breakdown right there.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't a super spike. It was put in the right spot, and nevertheless, Dan saw the opening and put it there. That makes it 12-3 in favor of the Bears. And there's Coach, if you can hear him, he's still directing. As a matter of fact, he was directing Brad Kern there. Service by number 22, and that's Mike Minchella.
Looks like a little frustration by Matt Eichert over there from Edison. I think he's just trying a little too hard, put the ball into the net.
It's all about experience and playing. That's why, you know, I really like the way you guys get the freshmen acclimated to the sport and then get it into the playing, because the first couple matches, you know, they almost look like they're lost out there.
That's pretty much an understatement, to be honest with you. The first couple, as they get here and they're starting to learn the positions and whatnot with rotation, they are a little lost, but they learn quickly. We hold them to it, and they do a really nice job of learning the game.
Okay, that's number 26, Mike Bykowski, into the game.
And looks like Brad Kern was in the net on that one. I think that might have been his shirt. His shirt looks like it's untucked in the front. He might not even have known it, but as he went up, his shirt might have grazed the net.
There's
a good swing by Danny Sipkowski.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And that makes the score 15-4 with Dan Sipkowski Jr. serving. Okay, he's finding the open spots there. Nice turnout of that crowd in there as we look up there. I thank all those parents for coming out and supporting volleyball, especially on senior night here.
Well, this is something we work on in practice too, to let you know that we do work on serving as far as putting the ball in particular spots, and basically Danny is just looking at the court now and finding out where he can put the ball and give us a better shot of scoring a point right off a serve, and he had 2 good aces in a row there, and then this one comes back over the net for a point for Edison.
That was Jason Tonic, and he's pretty happy about that, as he should be.
Have a new player in, new substitution, number 26, the Shivam Shaw in to serve for Edison.
And it's 17-5 in favor of the Bears. This is his 3rd game. Now, he could have had a backward set or the forward set there. Is that called ahead of time, or does Tommy Kohler just have to be ready for the backward or the front set?
He really has to be ready for it. He should be calling for the ball if he's ready and he wants the ball, but it's also a matter of playing with each other over and over again and knowing where the other guy is. I mean, they're just used to knowing where each other, where they are on the court.
There's a nice block, and you can always block on the spike or kill, correct? And that doesn't count as a hit?
That does not count as a hit. You're allowed 3 contacts after the initial block.
That makes the score 18-6 in favor of the Bears. And before I forget, I'd like to, as the athletic director here, I'd like to thank TV3 for their coverage of this game, and Charlie for helping out, because as I said many times, this is really a great thing TV3 does for our kids, because it's a lasting memory. They'll keep this tape and they'll watch it, and as they say, the tape doesn't lie. So whenever they start telling anyone how good they were, now they can take this tape out and prove it. So thank you, TV3.
Nice pass by Mike Minchella, and that's basically what we've been talking about over and over. It's just good ball control.
Brian missed it, and he almost looks a little embarrassed, but yet he hit it with such velocity that it was still able to go over the net.
You don't always have to hit the ball as hard as possible for it to be a kill. I mean, that's something that we teach the kids, and even though it's more fun to hit the ball as hard as you can sometimes, putting the ball where they're not is a kill is a kill is a kill is what we say.
Okay, I just want to comment too. You play the ball off the ceiling. It's a live ball, correct, Coach?
It is a live ball. You can play it off the ceiling, and usually the basketball backboards and whatnot that are up. The only time you cannot play the ball is if you hit the ball up into the ceiling and hits off something and then goes over the net, then that would be a dead ball and give it to the other team.
If I'm served the ball and I hit it straight up in the air, I can play it off the ceiling.
Right. The only stipulation would be you can't contact it twice in a row.
Can you? What if you hit the ball on your opponent's ceiling?
You cannot do that. It cannot hit.
That's out then.
That would be out.
Right.
It has to hit on your side of the net.
Right. Okay, that makes it 21-8 in favor of the Bears, and number 26, Mike Bukowski is serving. That's a nice play there by Edison, but the Bears had two people in their block, number 5 and number 6. That was Sullivan and Sinkowski. That was just experience there again. They just knew what was going to happen.
That's just a matter of finding the attacker and cutting off his angle.
And coaching, and it definitely reflects the coaching you guys are doing there. I see the vertical jumps, big difference. You guys spend a lot of time on the vertical jump.
We do, but again, it's something we do in practice. We work on approaches. We do a lot of jumping drills. We do, up, downs, push-ups, and wall jumps and whatnot. We do various things to work on that plyometrics. But the kids also do, as I mentioned before, play a lot on the beach. And if you're jumping out on the beach in the sand, it's definitely going to increase your vertical.
You can just see how quick we get off the ground and how much higher we are. And I believe the points is getting quick off the ground like in basketball. Okay, that's 23-9 with the Eagles serving. Number 12, Matthew Eichert is serving for the Eagles. And that makes it 24-9. And again, 25 is the game. Number 6 serving for the game is Brian O'Sullivan. Okay, I think that may do it. That makes it 25-9 in favor of the Bears. Congratulations to the Bears, and good luck to Edison for the rest of the season. And now what you see is, this is kind of neat, the tradition of shaking hands after the game. It's pretty neat, and I'm glad volleyball does that. And I know other sports do it, but they've got a set routine to it, and I think that comes from international competition. Okay, it wasn't a real challenge for the Bears, but you still think they'll be ready tomorrow for Hunter Central and Saturday for this prestigious tournament?
I think tomorrow Hunter Central has a very good program. I'm sure they're going to come out ready to play, but hopefully we don't want to look past Hunter Central, but if we can come out and win tomorrow, then I think Saturday should be a real big test for us with the great level of competition that's going to be here at the Bears Invitational Tournament. Going to have teams such as St. Joe's, who's ranked 2nd in the state, Bridgewater's 3rd in the state, Fairlawn, I believe, is 6th or 7th in the state here, West Windsor South's a great program. Mrs. Adams, who used to be a physical education teacher and assistant volleyball coach before I got here, her husband's the head varsity coach at West Windsor South, and he's really put together a nice program over there. The level of play should be great, and hopefully we can come in and win that tournament on Saturday, keep the undefeated streak alive.
Okay, once again, we want to thank you for joining us. Congratulations to the Bears. Again, if you want to see some good volleyball this Saturday, or if you have any questions about the athletic department, please don't hesitate to give me, Frank Noppenberger, a call at 613-6930. So, on behalf on Coach Ginex and Frank Noppenberger, I'm Frank Noppenberger thanking you.